Two of the most biodiverse wildlife parks on Earth are now open to drilling. These are both located in South Africa. But how does this have to do with the United States? I did a little digging and I found. In November of 2017, the U.S. Energy Secretary Rick Perry traveled to South Africa to tout the U.S. and South Africa's new partnership. They are interested in extending the electric grid to serve the 600 million people in sub-Saharan Africa who do not have power. Now, although this does not have to be fueled by fossil fuels, that's what they're pushing, fossil fuels. So, U.S. Energy Secretary Rick Perry, under the Trump administration, has now a joint partnership with South Africa to build electricity, to build an electric grid fueled by fossil fuels. And all of a sudden, South Africa opens up two of the most biodiverse wildlife parks on the planet to oil drilling. Perry, again, U.S. Energy Secretary Rick Perry, suggested that increasing fossil fuel use to spread electricity across Africa would help prevent sexual assaults. That is what he's running on. Well, if we use fossil fuels to bring electricity to 600 million people, women will no longer be sexually assaulted in South Africa. Responding to protesters who yelled that fossil fuels were causing climate change and killing people in poor countries, he said, "Let me tell you, where people are dying in Africa, it's because of the lack of energy they have there. And it's going to take fossil fuels to push power out into these villages in Africa." Since taking the helm at the Energy Department, Perry has said he doubted the scientific consensus that carbon dioxide was causing climate change. Okay, what's happening now with these parks? What are these parks? What is going to suffer and die? It's dark. The government of the Democratic Republic of Congo, I will refer to as DRC henceforward, has confirmed that parts of the Virunga National Park, one of the most biodiverse places on the planet, and the Salanga National Park will be opened up for oil exploration and drilling, just like all the other parks in the United States that Trump is opening up to oil and drilling. These parks are home to mountain gorillas, chimpanzees, African forest elephants, and other rare species, some of which are soon to be extinct. And they could be welcoming some new visitors, oil companies, perfect. So the Virunga National Park is about the size of a small country. We're not talking about marine land. I don't even know if you know what marine land is here. We're not talking about a tiny park. It is the size of a small country. That land has been set aside for the rainforest, for the animals. God help us, this planet belongs to more than just friggin' humans. Why can't we leave anything for the other creatures that inhabit this country, this planet? Or trees! Oh my God, guess what? We need them. We need those trees. Yes, we sure do. Because carbon dioxide kills, but not according to the energy secretary. Trump's energy secretary apparently has nothing to do with global warming. So it is the size of a small country, over 7,800 square miles in size, and encompasses rich forests, savannas, swamps, lake shores, lava plains, active volcanoes, and glaciatic mountains. And all of this is going to be opened up for oil drilling because of the decisions in the United States. It is regularly cited as one of the most ecologically diverse places on the earth. It's home to a quarter of the world's critically endangered mountain gorillas, along with two other species of great ape, the eastern lowland gorilla, the chimpanzees. It also holds a range of other rare species, such as the okapi, African buffalo, Central African lions, and the Congo peacock, all which are now open to being slaughtered because of the Trump administration and their desire to continue to push fossil fuels. So how is this connected? Well, people in Yemen are getting bombed because they want to build a pipeline. These wildlife parks are now open to oil and gas drilling in Africa because they want fossil fuels, because the United States went in there and set up a deal with them. Selanga National Park, Africa's largest and the world's second largest tropical rainforest reserve is home to just as many environmental features and animals as the other park. All of these natural resources means that the area is a hot property. The DRC has been subject to rising amount of instability and conflict in recent years, with oil companies, governments, militia groups, poachers, and environmentalists all having a vested interest in the region, all for different reasons, clearly. And as a result, at least 12 anti-poaching rangers were killed this year. So they've closed the parks down. And they're no longer open to the public until 2019. So evil is everywhere, and it comes in every form, whether they're trying to exploit gas or trying to exploit animals. How many things on this planet need to be protected? And I understand, I know that these poachers are, oh yeah, they're heartless and they're gross. And there's no excuse, but they're trying to survive. They come from a country where they have nothing. I mean, the ones who are actually doing the poaching. Now, the higher ups, they're just rich people who don't give a shit. And the more they have, the happier they are. But there's still no excuse. And I really could care less what happens to poachers. I mean, I don't know, do to them what they do to the animals. Sorry. The last time oil companies threatened to exploit the part of the Congo basin, especially in Virunga, it was met with this huge opposition by environmental activists. So what happened was in 2014, the British oil and gas company SOCO International performed seismic testing in Virunga, and although they let their license run out in 2015, and that was due to the fierce opposition by the people trying to protect the land, during the operations, this is how gross people are when it comes to oil and gas. They paid $42,000 to a Congolese army major to basically kill or use violence to intimidate people who were opponents to the fossil fuel industry. So they found out that SOCO gave this army major $42,000 to, hey, if there's a protester there who's against the fossil fuel industry, who's trying to stop this deal from going down, whatever, kill him, threaten his family. Here's $42,000. Again, this wasn't the United States. This was SOCO. That's a British oil company. But since then, they, because they were busted, they were reported on. This was revealed by the New York Times. So SOCO has since pledged to remain out of Virunga and all other UNESCO World Heritage Sites. But again, how could these people from SOCO, this oil and gas company, it's discovered, we gave this Congolese army leader $42,000 to go do whatever he has to do to people who were protesting fossil fuels, and nothing happened to them. There was no, they didn't, get arrested. They didn't get fined, nothing. Just, oh, wow, you gave somebody $42,000 to kill fossil fuel protesters. Well, bad. Just stay out. Okay, sorry. And again, you have people who are selling marijuana in, low-income neighborhoods, and they get sent to jail for life. America. So, however, the DRC government has consistently defended its right to authorize drilling for oil and gas anywhere in the country and maintained that they are aware of protecting their country's biodiversity. The World Bank's Michael Tomlin, who works for the World Bank, said, "Off-grid solar implies a much lower cost burden for governments aspiring to expand basic services to households in the nearer term compared to the extension of the grid using fossil fuels. So right there, you have someone who works for the World Bank. This is not an environmentalist. This is not a person who is a tree hugger. This is a dude who works for the World Bank. He's financially assessing the situation. He published a report. He said off-grid solar would be way better to use in South Africa than fossil fuels if you care so much about these 600 million people and you really want to bring electricity to them to stop rape. Fossil fuels isn't the way to go. It's solar. They don't give a shit. The United States is pushing fossil fuels. So again, wrapping it up, United States goes into South Africa in 2017. They strike up a deal with them. They're partners now. I care so much. I don't know why. Trump's energy secretary cares so much about the people in Africa. He wants to stop people from being raped. Hey, I'm going to go to South Africa and we're going to put up an electricity grid so 600 million people are safe from being raped. But we're going to use oil and gas. And all of a sudden, South Africa opens up the 2 most biodiverse wildlife parks in the world for oil and gas drilling.